Hello and welcome to All My Art and Soul. I'm Michelle Holden, the mixed media artist, and this week's abstract art journaling series is all about exploring color. And as you can see, I've selected some different tools. Some I tried, and like this speedball. I've always wanted to do it and try how smoothly it moves the paint. It's really awesome, but still rather too large for me for this piece, but maybe not. We'll just see how we use it. And of course, the Catalyst Wedge. And I'm selecting some really nice cadmium deep yellow here, orange, a couple of different blues, teal, that beautiful pink, of course, and my Titan buff. There's the golden teal, and I end up choosing a cobalt blue in Rio Tech, great big, heavy-bodied, and of course my trusty Liquitex white. And this week, my challenge for myself was to use less collage and, of course, more paint. There's that light blue that I absolutely love. And you'll find that you love certain colors. And yes, we need to use the colors that speak to us, but maybe trying different color combinations is where it's at. So this is the first go of this series with color. I just went with my usual choices. There's the blue, orange, blues, pinks. But I don't know about you. I really feel I want to push myself with color. And so this week's video is going to be the starting point, or this journal page, and we're going to reflect on it and just see maybe what we could do or change or add for next time. So I've decided to move my palette over so you can see what I'm mixing and why. You can see at the very, very top right, there's a bit of red. I do believe I forget how deep or light the cadmium red is, but I'm going to just start with the teal. And as Nicholas Wilton always says, just use your palette that you have and mix it all up, use it as a neutral. I haven't explored or gone that far yet, but that's the goal. So I'm mixing the blue, trying other blues, adding a little yellow, orange, and pink, and then next, and then I lighten it up. So my goal here was just to stick with the simple horizontal areas of color, thinking big, bold shapes at first, coming in with smaller ones, and just playing with the tools and the color sort of at the same time. And you'll find that your tools really need to be explored more as to what they're capable of, what you like, what you don't like. And this is not a thin layer of paint, but it's not a thick layer. And so what I did, I let it dry, and then we're coming back in after this is dried. And now I wanted to add a warm tone. So I'm thinking the oranges, yellows, and of course you could see a little bit of blue got in there, but I didn't mind because I wanted it to neutralize the very bright orange and yellow. And one way is to use the opposite color on the color wheel. So I'm trying to go for this peachy, this old-fashioned peachy color. It doesn't really turn out, but you just got to go with it. And right here, I'm trying the speedball again. And I'm liking what it's doing because it has a very rounded edge. So I'm definitely going to use this, but on the much larger pieces of paper or canvas. What I'm learning, what the wedge can do, no matter what white or how thick it is, depending on the angle that you scrape across, you just get this beautiful subtle layer or veil, and you can still see a lot of the colors underneath. And that's what I wanted. So as we're progressing and learning about these tools and what color does, we just put that in our schema, in our heads, and it's there to use, to access when we're creating intuitively. And I wasn't quite liking that layer, so now we've got a bit of a mess. This is the tricky part, right? So I'm drawing that layer, and so I just thought I'm just going to leave it and come back in. So a darker tone, but I love Payne's gray for its transparency. So I've got a lot of lights, a lot of mediums. So then what do I need? Well, let's try some dark. And I'm just fishing around for a tool here. And I'm really liking the yellow in the lower left-hand corner, and I'm loving that thin white. So anything that you really like, it's always good to do more of. So I didn't want to overthink, so I thought, okay, let's just grab some Titan Buff. And now that we have a lot of horizontal, let's just put a big vertical, just a whole bunch of natural swooshy painting marks in there. And looking at it now, I really wish I left it and didn't roll it with the brayer, because it had a much more interesting texture. So, good note to keep for yourself for next time. And I'm looking for a deeper blue. Then I'm adding a little pink here. And I'm just going to come in with some more horizontal layers near the top, just to break up that myriad of colors. But then I'm going to start with a bunch of lines. And this is important. Let your painting get to some level of an ugly stage. Let it go. Let it happen. This has taken a long time for me even to get to this point. Because, and I thought, oh yeah, those horizontal lines that I love, like water or energy or whatever it might emulate, just put those in. So it's just another layer. And if we look at it as another layer, it's like, okay, that went a little dark. And this page turns out completely different. So please stay and watch to the end, because you'll be surprised as to how the layers, how I build them up and end up with something pretty interesting. So I'm adding the light over the dark because I'm thinking of the contrast of what I did before with the brayer. Oh, and there it happens. So important that that layer underneath was mostly dry in order to get that effect. So sometimes I do need to use the hair dryer, and sometimes I just let it dry and work on something else. So even though I did all the line work, I really didn't like it a lot. So I left some and I'm covering up some. And looking at this now, the brayer is handy for the speed of drawing and thinning the layers, but as you can see, I still had to use the dryer. So now, as you can see here, I've scored through this paint and added some more interesting textures. And what's calling to me is some more teal. And I'm just changing the temperature of it. And it just needed something natural and a big swoosh of a line to go through it. And then I'm using the brayer, but lightly, trying to keep that texture there. And my default would be to grab a piece of collage and slap it down. So I'm really trying not to do that. Now that I went back to the pure teal, look at the subtlety in those two tones. And I really, really loved how that turned out. And remembering what my wedge can do. And if you add just a little spritz of water, you can even make that layer more thin and take some off if you wanted to reveal, which I did, the layer underneath. So now we're getting somewhere, and as you can see, you're thinking of threes, fives, and your horizontal layers will look better if they're all different widths. So, oh yeah, wow, I love what happened on the brayer. So I just did that more and didn't want to overdo that orange on the left. And I've been grabbing that that was the collage that I did a while ago, a couple of videos ago. I forget, I should really know this so I can send you there. But check it out. Handmade collage papers, not too far, just before this series, I believe. So getting some more blue. I tend to love the top to be dark and the bottom to be light. Light to dark, you might want to try dark to light. And another drawing of a layer. So there's a lot more layers on this page, and as I'm feeling it right now, it's really cool. And I love the layering that the paint makes on the journal page. So doing the same with this, going with different blues, one on top of the other, keeping it in the blue area, but creating a really nice subtle effect. And I've been wanting to use this in a piece. This is just from the same palette that you see, the piece of glass. And I just let the piece of teal dry. And sometimes I use the razor blade and scrape them off. And they come off really easily. So I wanted to use that in this piece. And really liking that difference, a different value. And making some nice texture with that pencil. And you know that I love my dots and I love making rows of them. So just one or two passes of the brayer so I can maintain. Probably went too far. And then I'm going to come in with orange. I don't know if any of you love the combinations of pink and orange. I love it. And this just added some zing, made the blue look more blue just because of the opposite colors. So I do end up using some Girl stencils on this page. And this here is just newsprint. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just make a quick paper stencil. And these leaf shapes or like so. And then I'm going to just use my makeup sponge. Still thinking blues in the blue area. I didn't want any more high contrast. And I just wanted some interest in there. And there's another layer. And do I want them down there? So I think I changed my mind because it would have made it too busy. But let's see what I end up doing. Oh, yes, a nice horizontal shape. So why I'm doing this is the crisp edges of the stencil really contrast well with the loose, soft edges of all those blues and oranges. And it's those differences that really make it zing. So I needed a little more white just a little bit higher value of blue, just so you could see it. And I'm putting another one in there. Nice. Very nice. And then I decide, okay, so I just use the top edge just to make the eye have something to look at the top. And I do, it looks like I didn't finish the edge up there, but that's the white tape. Okay, so there's those beautiful triangles with the dots. And I love how they're organic. So I'm going to put yellow and orange in the same area, but define these, make these more harder edged. And I'm just going to change that, use some yellow, use a bit more orange, and then I end up adding a little bit of white to the yellow just to give it a little bit more higher value and more opacity. That's looking really cool. Okay. And you can, this video is a little longer than the other ones. There's a little more to it. For some reason, when I'm using just the paint, probably because the drawing time and the cardboard, the corrugated cardboard, I love the lines it makes. So I decided, well, let's just not touch the middle part, but carry on that blue. And if you're liking this content, and if this is helping you along, please remember to like and subscribe, because we're just going to keep on going with color for a while, and then pattern, and who knows what I'll be creating. And here's another Stencil Girl stencil, and I love these vertical lines, or these line patterns. And those are the kinds of stencils that I like. Nothing too cutesy pie, just really abstract, trying to maintain that feel. Okay, let's see if all right, a little bit more teal up at the top. Oh, I see. A few dots and just a couple of passes. I think it was just too heavy and the eye was staying there too much. And those sometimes are the collage pieces that I keep. The papers like I use with this, and they'll dry, and I'll just keep using the same one. And of course, drawing that layer again. So then I remembered what I did in the 10 by 10 Cradle abstract series. And I love the blue circles against the darker blue background with the Posca pen and putting some orange. They just really show over top of the acrylic layers. And just a little bit of overlapping, not too much, just adding some more interest. Oh, I love that pink. Careful not to use too much. I just wanted to add a little bit more interest around those pink, the horizontal dots. Carry the eye around and just give it that, I guess, cosmic feel. Seems to be what I'm going for these days. Maybe it's the global mood. So, I'm not liking the light blue pen. I guess it's a lot more white than blue. But I just needed those not vertical lines, horizontal lines. And a little bit of yellow because I spotted that. Yes. It just made that energy stand out more. And one more drawing. So many drawing of the layers on this piece. And I think we're almost done. I'm removing the tape, so I'm just adding a little drying heat. And thank you for subscribers who have told me that because it really does help. It works great. And I like the white tape because it's not a distraction. And this is the acid-free tape that you would use to tape your originals to the back of a matte frame. And someone asked me if I frame my originals. What I do with these is I'm creating art products that I'm offering on my website. So those links are left in the left under the video, and we are not quite done yet. And so if you're interested in any art products, I'm slowly adding more as I've sent out in my emails to my subscribers who have jumped onto my email list. Thank you very much. Yes, one more. Now, I just love how the orange went with it, but I just didn't want to add too much. I do believe I did, though, looking at it now. Here's the couple of, I just couldn't resist adding a couple of collage pieces. They so added to it. And I don't know about you, but I just love paisley. The green, the gold, the yellow, it just went so well and contrasted so well with that. I finally found a spot for the blob of paint, skin, I call it, in a way. Yes, it needed to go right there because it's closer to the teal and it's not sticking out so much. And this is a collage paper that I made with that big cardboard chunk as a stamp. And I thought it might go at the top. If the black dots weren't on it, I think I might have put it down. But it just is too busy, too much of a distraction once I placed it in that spot and realized. But that piece will be, it'll find its place on another page in another time. So yeah, it's just too top heavy. And it's too similar to the very top part that I created with the sponge. So then I'm tearing a bit of orange, and I know that it needs to go above, and I only need, not there, closer to the orange. And I love how tissue paper shows the layers underneath. So I end up tearing, I think 2 or 3 of those and laying them down. Looking at this page now, though, I think it would have been good even without it, but now that I see it with this, it's a lot richer, and the transparency is really, really interesting compared to nothing. And the way the orange goes over those spiraling circles is really cool. Now, I've been eyeing this piece in the background, and there is not the spot. It needs to be a little smaller. I think I end up trimming it just a little bit so it fits a little bit more in. Oh, I don't trim it. And I like how the black bottom part just lines up with that other one. And I think we are almost there. Oh, I'm still trying to fit that piece in, but I end up not doing that. I don't know why. Almost. But I changed my mind and just let it be. Oh, one more little collage. This is my little pentagon that I like to use in my pieces. And watching your scale. Sometimes a piece will work, but what might be bugging you is that maybe it's too big or too small. That's the tricky part. And you see, I'm just trying some more things, trying to fill this up. And I thought, nope, too much like of earth and sky. I did not want that to look so much like that, even though there are some elements in this piece. And I won't give up. So as you can see, the different collage pieces that I've made here, they'll just be super in the right place, on the right page. And so we're going to continue with using color and orange, blue, and I would like to experiment with some different colors and different color combinations, trying to get out of, the same old thing, even though this really does zing. And as I was saying earlier, I use my designs to create, I just thought instead of prints, which I can create and will, and have them on my website, I have the pouch bags, the tote bags, the notebooks, and I'm going to be creating an art card. I think they come in a set of 5, and I will be offering those on my website, especially for this last quarter. I'm right in the middle of doing those, and when those products are created and my test products arrive, I'll be making a little reveal video and showing you what I've been up to in the background. So there's my little pentagon, and I like it because it's just subtle, it just fits in there. And this is Exploring Color. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.